so I'm going to go ahead and assume that I am. At the moment, it is just me. I do apologise. I'm not sure if Trupp said he wouldn't be here this week or if he's, running a bit later, and that's quite all right. I can never remember. Anyway, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's political recap stream. Yes, we're just me at the moment. Yes. Might change. Who knows? So before we start, hello, I'm 05 Anti. Hello, Karma, Leona, and Stanton. Hi. Hope you're all well. It's been a very busy week politically in the UK. Hello, Spoonie, as well. I just realised how warm I am with this hoodie on. I need to take it off. Essentially you've just got an off-cam striptease. Like I say, hoodie. It's a zip-up. Throw that over there. Fantastic. Hello, Mazzy May, as well. Hope you're well. As far as the UK goes, it's mostly focused on two subjects. And those two subjects have really dictated a lot of traffic. Hello, Gemma Deering. In the sense that there hasn't been much said beyond it. And as we're getting closer to certain deadlines, and with people rebelling against the establishment, it's an interesting state of affairs, really. Because I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen. I have put some sources in place. Because I did write some notes in my notebook here, along with highlighting the words Trupp's hosting. He'll host next week's, or when he's next available, if he's not here today. Although he can still host it. Belated. Yeah, he can still do that. So I figure what we'll do, I'm going to start by talking about coronavirus in the United Kingdom. Because it's getting really irritating. Okay. So currently, the UK government introduced a means-assessed system. This would then determine if a constituency or county, but constituency mostly, which is a constituency is the equivalent to US county, right? A what we call a county is equivalent to what you call a state. So one of our constituencies, hello Angry Scotsman, hope you're well, will be means assessed based on infections per 100,000. Now, if they don't have 100,000 in that constituency, then yes, of course, it gets a little trickier. But it seems to semi-work, and it does then mean, for example, whereas many are favouring a circuit breaker, which I'll explain in a moment, where the entire country goes into a lockdown for a short period of time, where it is estimated up to 28 days, is bought to help fight the virus. For approximately 2 weeks, every other month, apparently. What is that? That was something unimportant. Yeah. Essentially, we're doing it a different way. So it means then that areas where the United Kingdom is not anywhere near as affected, so the southwest, which is, I'll be honest, doing okay. There are some spikes, but they have seen a drop, which we'll talk about in a moment. The southwest, the East Midlands, and I'll be honest, I'm in the southeast. In Kent, we're golden. We're not suffering, struggling. There are areas that are doing okay. Others have quite rightly pointed out that during the summer, the virus didn't seem to do very much because it was hot. And it's cold now, so it could be easily conflated because of the symptoms. And without properly testing everyone, it's going to be very tricky to prove everyone, or all those people who have the symptoms or are symptomatic of coronavirus, have in fact got coronavirus and not the flu or a cold, the sniffles. Nothing like the man flu or the sicknesses. It's nothing alike. Many MPs are under this... I don't know what that was. Sorry, I don't have the donation alerts on this screen, if that was what that was. Let's go here. It's not there. Okay. Sorry, I don't know what that was. Sorry. Many MPs support what SAGE has advised. SAGE is the Scientific Advisory Group of blah blah blah. They believe a circuit breaker is required, but it hasn't been reviewed. Yes, these are scientists that have posited this idea. But just, no, it's not been proven yet. MPs are supporting it, and it's causing rebellion, which is really interesting, including within the Conservatives. But as is if history is anything to go by, the Conservative Party are renowned for fighting themselves. Hi, Skog. Hi, Sean. Hope you're both well. Hello, Kathy Carpenter. I hope you're well. So, and Skog, I hope you don't have to. I hope you don't get it for a third time. I really do hope so. I don't want that. That'd be nasty. And then we definitely couldn't hang out. That would suck. A bit, yes. There are mayors in northern cities who, because they're seeing the South basically live their best life, air quotes around all of that, they think that the northern powerhouse, which is a way of industrializing, I think, the North to try and get them to make more money and be more productive and obviously then succeed, which is a good thing. The North, or North FC, they believe that the South is being given preferential treatment by Boris. One thing I did notice that I found interesting, and this might be a bit of poor taste, so do forgive me, is that currently, and I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll even go here. I'll pull up some of the images. So this is of the percentage change in infection rate. This is where you see the green area for like southwest, south. And my area is listed as yellow, but it's still quite low. Even the infection change in London is still quite low. There is another image we'll go to in a minute, but you notice like the north and the middle there, right? Not doing so well. Wales. But what I've learnt from this is that North FC generally have horrific immune systems. But the Southwest, which is essentially renowned for inbreeding, is doing well. So what I can safely take away from this is, and it's probably the only time you'll ever hear this, incest saves lives. Yep, there's my crash joke for the day. You're welcome. This, though, shows the changes in it. So, okay, so this looks a lot more alarming than it is. However, it's not. Give me a moment, because it's based on an increase in pre-existing infections. So if you had like 4 infections and it's gone up by over 50%, it's going to be red. But it's still only a few. It's a lot. It's a very sensationalist thing. And oddly enough, Skog mentioned Nottingham. It says right here, recorded the biggest percentage rise in cases by 5. Hang on. I've got to get the image because the resolution's not great on my end. Whereas 546%. That is actually what it says. As it went from 94.32 to 609.49 cases per 100,000. That is shocking. Yeah. Chat's disappeared. There we go. So don't. I should tell anyone who looks at these, don't obsess over this. London looks horrific here on this chart when it's all green. However, we go back to the change in infection rates across England week on week. It's not actually as bad as being implied. Yes, Skog, Nottingham has won. Your prize is deadness and face masks. Maybe some steroids. Hello, Bradley. Hello, Mad Max. Hello, Adam Wilcock. Hope you're all well. And I think, yeah, they kept the gyms open. I know that in Liverpool there was a gym that got police turned up to tell them to shut down. And the guy said, if I shut down, I won't be opening again. I won't have a job. I won't have a business. And I really feel for these people because there's a really tricky position here. If you impose lockdown on anyone, you have to be able to help them. And the government position, and I heard it during PMQs, was it was universal credit. That does not help any business. In my area, if my gym shuts down, they've said outright they will not be reopening because they can't afford it. And that puts about 6 people out of work. but it also puts about 200-300 people who use that gym out of a gym. There is one across the street, but I'll be honest, it's shite, so no one wants to use it. This is nice and shiny. Can we keep it, please? But we're okay at the moment, so we're just going to make the most of what we have while we have it, and when we lose it, we'll cry afterwards. But these numbers are really important. And then you go to London, so Nottingham might well go back into a Tier 3 lockdown, which will absolutely suck. Exactly, Portrait Seal. 50% wise from what? Exactly the point. So it's why the second image is not as... it's a very intimidating image, but it means nothing. So the next part of this is that... what was it? Oh, Manchester. So up in the north, they have a mayor. Mayor's Andy Burnham? Yeah, that's him. He was a Labour MP, in fact, for a long time, and then he walked away and did this. And he wants a circuit breaker, but has also demanded financial support for it. Now, he should do what's best for his city. If he wants to do a circuit breaker, but the government says, no, you do Tier 3 lockdown, it's a bit of a tricky position, because he has to defer to their better judgment. He has to. Because he's their bitch. It's simple as that. But he doesn't want to do it, and he won't do it. But then Boris has said if he has to, he'll impose it. Which, I'll be honest, I don't want that. I don't want the lockdowns at all. I think they're absolutely stupid at this point. They don't work. We now know they definitely don't work. Because it's been proven in areas where lockdowns were imposed even greater, the infection rate was still going up. But this is where it gets a bit more interesting. So here, on this chart, so 41 councils on this, so constituencies, 41 of these little image pieces of puzzle, right? They've actually recorded a fall in COVID infection rates. One of those is Manchester. But Manchester's been under very strict lockdowns, which does show it is working. Then you go to Dorset and the infection rate is spiking, which implies, because you've got one red area in the southwest here at the bottom, it does imply that there is a change. That is obviously Dorset, by the way, that red area, because it does say right on that image, oddly enough. So of the 149 councils, almost a third have said, well, not a third, almost 25%. Over 25%, 30%. Fuck it, let's just go with that. They've said that from the week ending the 11th of October. This comes from Public Health England's weekly surveillance report. Only 8, as you can see on the image, only 8 have shown an increase. Now, Sadiq Khan wants to shut all of the London boroughs down, all of them. Hello, great Sky Troll anti-drama. Hope you're well. He wants to shut them all down. Hello, Vent. Hello, by the way. He wants to shut everything down. And he wants furlough. He wants everything. Problem is, it's not as bad as you're implying. And you really shouldn't shut London down at all. Considering how important it is, it looks like a political move, but done with absolutely catastrophic consequences. The government's in a very difficult position here. Because they've got to be able to keep the economy going, because if they don't keep the economy going, they can't do what their original message is, and that's to save lives, or to herd people, whichever way you want to look at it, right? It's really, really tricky. I know that Sadiq Khan was asked, oh God, what was, I think I have it written down somewhere. Scroll. I do not have it. He was asked to do something about public transport, but concerning making people under 18s pay for full travel fares, because he does it. I think he do it for free or something. I just think, nah, it's just tragic. To be fair, Portrait Seal, he'll win the next mayoral election easily. There is no viable candidate, and they can't campaign. Therefore, he is the only candidate, really. Let's see, I've got other things written down, don't I? The 3-tier system. So you'll see on here green, amber, and red. Well, okay, you've 4 actually. Let's put the yellow, the orange, and the reds together for the sake of it. Areas that are red, for the most part, will be put under Tier 3 lockdown. They are the ones that get stuck indoors until it goes down. They have the pubs shut, except for Wetherspoons, because they serve mostly food, right? They're the ones where the gym's shut, so a lot of businesses go out. I know that because furlough's ending, there is a fear that millions of jobs could be lost. And there is a point to that. We're coming up to Christmas, that season. As far as economy, that's the best time. It's the best time for anyone. I say this as somebody who does this for part of his living. December, November, December, October even, they're the best months. Absolutely, you want to smash these months out of the window. You absolutely want to own it. And obviously I'm not affected because it's online, but those who work in shops, those who work in hospitality... Okay, so I'm going to pummel the government on this one. The UK government has continually said they don't want to obsess over global numbers. They want to focus on our numbers. But then Oliver Dowden, one of the ministers for the government, sat on TV and when asked by some presenter, I don't know who the name is, unimportant, when asked why the hospitality sector was taking the brunt of the blame for 3%, by the way, schools are the largest, why was the hospitality sector being punished so much? He replied with, because of what we've seen in America. And I'm sat here like, you fucking what, mate? Hang on. You're comparing us to other countries when it suits you? Firstly, our pubs, I say this as somebody who cleans a pub, they are hygienic. They are top-notch. They take every precaution. They use everything they're meant to use. All government guidance has been obeyed, even to the point where if you're in a pub and you have and you're not sat down, even if you're going to use the restroom, you have to put your mask on. If you're sat down being served, or you're obviously consuming the beverage or food, yeah, no, you don't have to wear a mask there, but you wear a mask any other time. The the pub I clean, I don't have to wear when I'm working. Obviously, it's great because there's no one there. But they've had to start selling 4-pint jugs and beers you can buy over the counter now to offset the losses, because this has hurt them so much. But they own the building, thankfully, so they're not going to go out of business, which is great. They just might cut back on staff, which is a possibility at this point. It'd be unfortunate. In Manchester, though, so there was a dip of 22%. So per 100,000, it was 557.8. It's now 433.8. Southend-on-Sea was a 20% drop from 42.6 to 33.9. All right. By the way, I'm just Sharia by proxy in some areas. No booze allowed. Jeez. I didn't realise your son was related to alcohol. By the way, I just want to say for the sake of it, when you hear the number like 33.9 for every 100,000, that is such a small number. Obviously, it's not a great number for any illness. Of course not. But fuck me. Come on. And I just want to put into perspective, Dorset here, listed as having the biggest, right? You can see it on the image. It went up to 89.5%, from 25.1 to 47.5 per 100,000. The numbers are so fucking small. And it's also a point, right, that with the mass dense population in some of these areas, yeah, you're going to have a higher infection rate, but the overall percentage is still incredibly low. It depends, I guess, on how you're looking at the statistics. It's just tragic at this point. And I have a sneaky feeling it is just me today, by the way. Okay, so hang on. Americans, have you had daylight savings time? I need to know this because I know we have ours in about 10 days. 9 days even. But sometimes you have yours before us, and that throws myself and Trups off, which would explain possibly why he's not here, because I don't recall him saying last week that he wouldn't be here. Totalitarian police state is what they want, not what they'll get, hopefully. I hope not. That's not something I can support, and I know the police in this area, they're not interested in this at all. November 1st. All right, so yours is... Okay, that's fine. No, it's fine. Hello, Carlos. Sorry I haven't seen the family for over a year. Saudi has been closed to international flights. When I do come back, I have to stay in a hotel for 2 weeks before I can see him. That sucks. Thank you for those in the chat who have told me. It is likely then Trups is either ill or not available this week, which is fine. We won't be talking about the US election. Well, I might touch on it briefly. Here, this is me touching on it briefly. Stay tuned to next week's This Week at Twitter. I'm going to go in on that on Twitter, deleting New York Post articles, and then Jack playing damage control, Jack Dorsey. It was hilarious. That's it. Do damage control over politics on a heavily charged platform. Now, congratulations. I'm gonna... Have I got any other images for this? Oh no, that's that one. Oh god, yeah, that was the tiered system, wasn't it? Yeah, so most of the country, if you notice... Okay, actually, this is a better image. We'll work with this. I need to close the other ones first. So, obviously, red are the highest areas. They're the ones that will more than likely get shut up completely. I know Scotland... Well, we don't care about the top there, do we? No one cares about Scotland. I know the orange areas are sort of like those where you're thinking it might be... They're going to... there's a chance it might. But then you come to, like, where I am... basically, where all the golden yellow is, medium, it's all right. Rule of 6, 10 p.m. curfew, which is bullshit. I will say this. Anyone that introduces a national curfew is a cunt, and it will be disobeyed by everyone. Hello, Diskanar. Hope you're well. So, yes, we'll not have this curfew bollocks around here. No, 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 no. I will, for the sake of anyone's interested, I'm now going to link the article I am referencing all this from in the chat. I'm not going home between Japan and Bahrain because the quarantine would suck up all my leave. That sucks. Yes, COVID-19 is renowned for being a night crawler, a night owl, nocturnal. They're also one of those dicks that go up to you when you're wearing a mask and just pull it down to get in you. It's called COVID rape. Yes. Because we didn't give it consent, yet it still touches you. Guys, it's 6 minutes until government bedtime. That's a fair point. It is actually 6 minutes till the bedtime. Right, let's move on to the next subject. Oh, Boris. Okay, I did have a video for this, but I'm not going to play it, so it's just the image. I do apologise. There's a reason. I don't want to get a copyright claim. I'm going to read a quote from him, actually from this video. After 45 years of membership... Nice. After 45 years of membership, they are not willing to offer this country the same terms as Canada. So, what do we mean by that? Listen, Mr. Anonymous, stop messaging me. It's starting to annoy me. I do apologise if you can hear that, by the way. Boris Johnson is preparing for no deal. And I'm going to give you... Fuck off. Boris Johnson is preparing for no deal. And I'm going to read, where's his quote? So, he's put the UK on high alert for a no-deal Brexit because he's accused the EU of effectively ending trade negotiations. He has admitted he is close to washing his hands of talks altogether. And that's because they've not come to the UK, even though they blinked first, right? They haven't blinked. They blinked first, the EU that is, and then they refused to make any concessions moving forward. France still want access to UK waters because it's election season next year. Barnier needs access to our waters, but Barnier is going to have to now. He has to travel to the UK next week, but he has said, Boris said that the EU has to make a fundamental change of approach, or it will prepare for Australia-style World Trade Organization terms. Boris has actually said that we will... this is an interesting... Hello, Vopel hit? Yes. Hi. Where was the quote? Where is it? I have it written down as well. You know what? Actually, first we're going to go to... is this it? I think this is it. So, von der Leyen has said this... talks between the UK and the EU. The EU continues to work for a deal, but not at any price. As planned, our negotiation team will go to London next week to intensify these negotiations. Most tragic part of that is at the bottom. Twitter for iPhone. The problem here is your idea of not of any price, but not at any price, is for you to continue with the stance you've taken of take. Take what is ours as if you are the ex-wife. And I know that's a very sort of like out-of-taste joke. Hello, Damien Freeman, and hello, Cody Music. Hope you're well. I haven't said hello to anyone else, so I do apologise. Problem with the EU stance has always been that. They're number one. They think they're the alpha. Well, we have the bigger economy, but sure, you're the alpha in this. You know what? France didn't prepare for it because France thought they could keep us in. They really did because of how Theresa May handled it. So, yeah. Their plan, obviously, then is to send Barnier next week. But Boris Johnson suggested last month that both sides should walk away from talks and prepare for a no deal if there was no agreement by the summit on October 15th. I'm going to give you guys a minute to see if you get it. Because I guess it depends on what part of the world you're in. Just give it a second and see if anyone cottons on to what that meant and what utter shit Boris Johnson is full of right now. And I'm sure deep down he meant every word of that on October the 15th. Yep. Totally. Yeah. So, we'll move on from that and carry on, shall we? Where is the quote? Right. He said, "As far as I can see, they have abandoned the idea of a free trade deal. There doesn't seem to be any progress coming from Brussels. What we are saying to them is only come here, come to us if there is some fundamental change in approach. Otherwise we are more than happy to talk about the practicalities that I described, the social security issues, road haulage and so on. But unless there is a fundamental change of approach, we are going to go for the Australia solution, and we should do it with great confidence, high hearts, confidence, because we can do it. Australia has a no comprehensive trade deal with the EU, and also does far less business with Brussels than the UK. I would say, for the sake of it, Australia will probably end up just doing more business with us because yo swag well fam alam, we got the Commonwealth. Hello, Roger Brown. Hope you're well. A no-deal split, though, would mean that any deals that were in place, the EU would impose tariffs on UK, with business groups warning this would damage British firms. I would point out, though, if they did that, we would do the exact same thing in return to get our money back, yo. Johnson has said the EU wanted the UK to agree to in key negotiating areas, which he's dubbed unacceptable, saying that from the offset we were totally clear we wanted nothing more complicated than a Canada-style relationship based on friendship and free trade. To judge by the latest EU summit in Brussels, that won't work for our EU partners. They want the continued ability to control our legislative freedom, our fisheries, in a way that is completely unacceptable to an independent country, which is why I have started to hate the EU more and more as every day has gone by, because it is actually disgusting they're still doing this. Still trying to dictate terms, which is not right. They have no right to that. What was it? Let's see, there's more to this. And since we have only 10 weeks until the end of the transition period on January 1st, I have to make a judgment about the likely outcome to get us all ready. Given that they have refused to negotiate seriously for much of the last few months, and given this summit appears explicitly to rule out a Canada-style deal, I have concluded that we should get ready for January 1st, with arrangements that are more like Australia's based on simple principles of global free trade. I think you should escalate trade agreements with other countries. Might I suggest Australia? Because seriously, if we can undercut them, that would really trigger them. And I think we should, because, well, we're England. With the UK, we can do what we want. We're not controlled by these bitches. The official PM's spokesman also said the trade talks are over. The EU have effectively ended them by saying they do not want to change their negotiating position. so the EU can either fundamentally change its position or we leave on Australia terms. They're also saying there was no point in trade talks if the EU doesn't change its position, and that there is only any point in Barnier coming to London if he's prepared to discuss all of the issues on the basis of legal text in an accelerate way, without the UK being required to make all of the moves, or if he is willing to discuss the practicality of areas such as travel and haulage, which the PM mentioned in the statement. The haulage one's interesting because there's been a backlog. And actually, that's a handy little segue, because what they've had to do, because of all the trucks stuck on the roads going to Dover, is every few trucks put a portaloo there. So, yeah. Because, and even your American trucks, you don't generally have it unless it's a custom job. You don't have toilets in trucks. I'm actually more concerned for those who can't get access to food, because it's going to be tricky, and it would be a long-ass walk in many directions unless you can get an Uber to deliver to you. But then you can't, because it's a motorway and they're not able to get through, which means no one's getting in or out. The tragedy of it all. But it was a very funny thing I saw, because it was a great picture of what looked like a portaloo with some wings on it. It looked like it was being used as a space rocket, because someone called it Operation Moonshot. I think that's what it was called. It was a funny picture. I've got it saved because I might do a video on it. It was just too funny. I guess we're done with this subject, aren't we? Is he here? No, he's not. It is still just me. 32 minutes, though. We're done all right. Okay, so I guess we're going to go to this guy. This is Keir Starmer. He is the leader of the Labour Party. He's had a pretty good start, to be honest. It's not been the worst run. He has done rather well, in my view, in PMQs. He's held his own. He's held his nerve. He doesn't have the most commanding voice. It can come across as whiny, but the points are still succinct, and that's interesting. He has yet to take a position on a few financial related issues, but I think I know why. Because I think deep down he still holds very far left-leaning views on things like state welfare, and it semi shows up when he talks about furlough, but then at the same time he has actually criticised the amount of money being spent on it. But Starmer's not had a bad run, so I think for him he's okay. But I'm not sure or convinced yet he'll beat Boris in 4 years' time. I'm not convinced. But he's got 4 years to prove us wrong. And I think if coronavirus is still an issue, then yeah, Boris is out. It's over for him. He'll know that though. He'll know, and he'll go back to being an editor because it's the only one that will make him any money after his divorce nearly crippled him financially. Not a joke either, by the way. I think the only way Boris is going to get money after this is if he gets it from his dad. So he got hit with a rebellion recently of 34 MPs, which included 7 front benchers in the shadow cabinet, who then defied the party whip in a Commons vote. So Keir Starmer told his MPs to abstain on a vote on the Spy Cops law, which is what led 34 to ignore that and oppose the legislation. Abstaining would have been the safer option, but because you cast a vote, it means you've gone against the whip. Two shadow ministers, the Margaret Greenwood, who was the shadow schools minister, and Dan Carden, who was the shadow treasury minister, resigned from their posts and then voted against the covert human intelligence source, because they would have to vote against your party position or government or shadow cabinet. If you want to vote against it, you actually have to walk away. You have to, not be in the cabinet. So other MPs who opposed the legislation would include, you'll love these names, Diane Abbott, John McDonnell, so the Shadow Home Secretary and the Shadow ex-Shadow Chancellor, ex-Shadow Home Secretary as well, and also the ex-Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn. I'll explain why in a minute, though, because it actually makes sense why he would oppose it. So the bill is called the Covert Human Intelligence Sources Bill. The bill would grant wide-ranging legal rights to undercover agents, or double O's, to commit crimes in the course of their work. So if they had to steal an apple, yeah, that's how this works. Because they need food, yo. Some of the MPs that voted against it instead of abstaining, voted against it as a matter of conscience, because they believe the bill sets a dangerous precedent on the rule of law and civil liberties. Others voted against it because they believe it sent a clearer message about the strength of concern. Let's talk about that strength of concern for a moment, shall we? Because the bill passed. The bill passed quite well, actually. The bill passed by 313 votes to 98. A majority of 215. I would point out then, there were a few Conservatives that did. 3. But that was mostly SNP and a few Labour. Yeah. So that doesn't really say much. It just tells me you wanted to be... I guess you wanted your record to look good. In resignation to his resignation to Keir Starmer, Cardin had said that he'd spoken to Keir Starmer on a number of occasions, and that you were basically opposed on this one, and because of his trade unionist background, he has to stand up for the workers, who in his area are mostly in lockdown anyway, so it doesn't really mean shit. Priti Patel has flayed the Labour Party for not backing the bill, saying that, once again, Labour has refused to stand up for those who protect our country and keep us safe. Their leader may have changed, but Labour still can't be trusted on national security. It's a strange one, really, though, isn't it? Because I want everyone to obey the rule of law. But I also understand that there is a context to why somebody in another occupation, that one especially, might well need a bit of freedom, a wiggle room, perhaps, to do things that aren't legal. I kind of get it in the context. But I think there's a worry, because obviously we are, as a nation, quite strict about accountability for the most part. It's why there will be a reckoning with Boris in the future. It's not going to be good. It's where it's so tricky, because unless the bill explicitly states there will be accountability in the future, and it will be done impartially and fairly, which is a tricky thing to do at the best of times. I think neither exists, to be honest. Patriarch of the Sith, who gets the 7th? Your mum does, because we don't do them things here. We just do 00. Everyone's called 00, and no one gets a 7. Yeah, there's actually a National Express bus that goes from Dover to London, and it's called the 007 in honour of the creator. That's not even a joke. That is, I used to take that bus all the time. So yes, that's cool. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so the accountability thing. It's really tricky to do, but I kind of support it. I kind of don't. But only because I haven't read the bill fully yet. I don't know, because it's going to the House of Lords now. I don't know if it included anything to indicate some kind of oversight, some kind of committees to properly process all that happens on certain missions, or the context, and it needs to be understood. But then, considering the nature of the occupation, that's all done publicly, so it can't be done at the same time. So it's really tricky, isn't it? Yeah, what a mess. I only had these 3 subjects, by the way, so do forgive me for not being as I don't know, not as well, there's not as much to talk about, because I had hoped to discuss a few other subjects that I had put in my sources tab. Oh, I have actually got the Portaloo subject here. There was one about the Patriot it was Matthew Doloff shot at a Patriot muster. I also want to talk about Pelosi's 25th Amendment altering of it to, I assume, if Trump wins, to get rid of him that way. But I didn't really, without Trumps, I didn't really want to go into those because it wasn't really my area. So yes, I guess I'm gonna finish now because it's just me. Yeah. Thank you very much for all being here. I'm genuinely very grateful. If you haven't already, please consider smashing like and sharing the stream. It greatly helps the channel. I am going to go chill before I have to go to bed and sleep and snooze and more sleep and snooze and then wake up being tired because it was never enough. Yes, so thanks for joining, and I will see you all, hopefully with a video at some point on this channel. I do apologise about that.